Hey, what's going on, guys? Kaufman is a live YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at Dark Knight's Metal #1 by DC Comics. Scott Snyder's the writer. Greg Capullo's on art, and on the cover here, it's got this really cool metal embossed cover. It's a $4.99 book. It came out in like the late summer of 2017. I was pretty much a lapsed comic book fan at that point. Wasn't reading a whole lot, or if anything at all. But I'd heard about this series and the death metal series that came out after that. There were some things that definitely intrigued me that kind of wanted me to get back into reading some comic books and just see what was going on. Um, Scott Snyder, of course, this was kind of him reinventing his own way the DC universe in a sense. Although DC does try to seem to want to reinvent itself every couple of years, and it never really sticks. But this was his first attempt at doing it, which is kind of why I wanted to go back and look at this book today. Was with the new DC All In that's about to happen, being run by Scott Snyder, how they're reshaping all these heroes and starting a whole new universe. So I wanted to go back and look at this comic book today because of that. And it's got Greg Capullo on art, really awesome artist from Spawn. He's done X-Force and Wolverine. So cool cover here. We've got the Justice League and just surrounded by darkness pretty much. So, and we get these three tribes: the bear, the wolf, and the bird. And we see that there's a fourth dark tribe, and we just see the shadow of like Batman here, and then blood being splattered all over all the tribes. And it says, with its terrible rise began the age of metal. And so we get a pretty cool shot of all of our heroes here, and they're all dressed in like alternate costumes here. I guess you could say metal costumes. They've all got armor and weapons. And when I first read this comic, and I wasn't quite sure, what to make of it, what direction this was all going to be going. But looking back at it now, this is like some real subversive storytelling, because I almost felt like right away they're trying to trick the reader into thinking we're getting this whole new like metal Justice League. But that's not actually what's going on here. Although this version of Batman does look suspiciously like the absolute Batman that we're about to get. He's even got an axe, a battle axe. So, but actually what's happened here is Mongol has trapped the Justice League, and he was being watched by the Braalians, who were supposed to be watching him, but for some reason they've been distracted, and he was able to escape, and now he's trapped the Justice League here, and he's going to try and kill them in like these gladiator games. So he's also trapped the Toy Man, who is his slave, and he's asking him, the Toy Man, who he should use next to try and kill the Justice League, and he says Fulcum Abominus. So we get Fulcum Abominus here, and it's just like all these little toy creatures. They look like almost like Power Rangers or Transformers, which does actually come into play here a little bit later in this battle. So the Justice League, they're battling all these guys. They're trying to figure out how to defeat them, and that's when Batman realizes that the name that Toyman gave them was actually a clue into how you defeat them. He says the formation. So he actually uses all of these guys to transform into a giant Power Ranger like kaiju robot. So it's like the Justice League version of Voltron here. I want to go back and look at some of these panels. I really like this one of Batman getting eaten by this machine here. This panel's really crazy of just all the Justice League being wrapped up in all these wires. They're trying to purposefully get eaten by these machines because that's what Batman's telling them that they need to do, because they actually need to like get inside of these machines and take control of them, you know, like the Power Rangers would, which is the best thing I can describe it as. I think it's pretty much on the nose. But Cyborg, he even gets his arm here. He says, "Booyah." Flash says, "Why do I got to be the foot?" Batman says, "Simple, Barry, so you can kick his..." And then we get the logo for the book here, metal. Pretty cool logo. I like how they've got these different symbols for the characters here, which again reminds me of what they're doing currently with All In. It's even like black and red and gray, which I think is like the color palette they were using for the Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman symbols that they just debuted recently. So we don't even really get the battle. We just get it's a lot like a TV show where we cut from the credit scene to the next scene. They've already gotten out of Mongul's captivity here, and now they're flying through space trying to get back home, which is what I was getting at the beginning of the video. I feel like, you know, they're trying to make us think when we first open this book, we're getting this whole new Justice League, but it's actually the original Justice League that we know and love. No alternate universe Justice League or anything like that. And Alfred's talking to Batman, and Batman's got tunnel vision about something. There's something that he's been working on for a while. But Alfred tells Batman that when he gets home, he's going to have to see it for himself, Gotham City. This is a pretty cool page layout, I feel like. Because we get the top panel where we see Gotham City being overrun by this giant mountain. We even see like buildings tumbled and sideways here at the bottom of the mountain. But then we get a whole nother panel here of the Justice League, and it's a shot of them. But Batman's kind of coming up over into this panel, and it's just really cool looking layout, I feel like. It's almost like Batman looking over his city. This is from his view. So anyway, we get Superman using his supervision to look inside of the mountain, and he sees that there's actually some sort of bunker inside of it. So then we get the Flash using his super speed to try and find a door, and they get into the mountain here, and they discover this core, and it's some sort of cryo core that has some people in it, and they keep feeling this really strong vibration or like feeling that they can't explain, and they see that the android Red Tornado is here as well. So it's a pretty creepy scene. There's blood on the walls that says, "It's chasing us, run." And then they get confronted by Lady Blackhawk. It's this covert anti-apocalyptic team that it says Batman's been tracking since All-Star Batman number 6 through 9. And she says, "I'm not just Lady Blackhawk, Batman. I'm Kendra Saunders." And she's one of the former Hawk girls, and she just goes on for multiple pages explaining everything that we need to know in this comic book about what's going on. She is the character exposition for sure. And she brings up Carter Hall, who is Hawkman, and she explains and describes the nth metal, and how whoever uses the nth metal is given vastly different abilities. And she tells the Justice League that this place is their only hope, this Black Hawk Island, because it remains on other frequencies that can't be detected, like some of the other places on Earth, like Themyscira and Dinosaur Island. So she's got a copy of the multiversal map here, but she explains that they've discovered that there's this other energy coming out of somewhere that they don't know where. It's not in any of the other 52 Earths that they've mapped out. It's coming from a dark multiverse. And she turns the map over and explains that there's a whole nother multiverse on the backside of the map, essentially, is the best way she can explain it. So, and there's a vessel on their current Earth that is bringing this dark multiverse into their existence. It's like a human doorway, she says. And the name of the thing that's coming through is Barbados. So it's like the great evil, essentially Satan or a great devil horned demon. So, and she says that the name Wayne is the vessel that's bringing it here. So Red Tornado sees Batman, and that triggers him to basically come online, and he starts attacking everybody, saying, I warned you, and he's coming for us all. He's kind of like the John the Baptist character here. And the nth metal disappears, as does Batman. And we get Green Lantern doing his one thing in this book. He grabs Red Tornado's face here. But Batman does escape. He grabs a dinosaur and gets out of there. There's a lot of almost kind of tongue-in-cheek humor being done for these Justice League to get out of these situations. It's kind of some pretty ridiculous stuff, like the giant Voltron robot or Batman, escaping on a dinosaur. So some pretty fun stuff, and I really appreciate it. It's some pretty fun storytelling. So we start getting this narration that turns out is from Carter Hall, as he's left this notebook for Batman. And everyone who's attuned with the nth metal is getting these visions of like these demons coming through this portal, getting closer and closer. Of course, as we know now, it's like the dark multiversal Justice League, which has become pretty overused in almost like all comic books since this metal series came out. I feel like is like we just get lots of evil versions of the teams or the heroes. It's kind of tropey, but at this point, this was kind of a newer concept, or at least hadn't been done in a while. So, and wasn't being overused at the time. So Batman, he's got the nth metal and he's looking at it through the microscope. He's, it's like something he's never seen before. And they start hearing like this humming coming up from his study. So Batman goes up there and he actually finds the book from Carter Hall. And the nth metal that he has is what drew him to the book. So he says, my God, it's all true. So everything that Kendra Saunders was telling them is true. So Batman has finally come to his conclusion about everything he's been working on. And he's being followed by this, evil demonic force that's coming through from the multiverse. So, and he says, we get the final page here. And we get the reveal of this character, the dream of the endless, and he's just here to tell Batman that his nightmare has only just begun. So, pretty cool comic. It's got some pretty good pacing. It's fast paced for the most part, till we get to a couple pages of exposition that we needed to kind of kick off the story. But I like that this story starts out. It's got a good opening here. A nice battle between Mongol and the Justice League here that's quickly solved, and then we get into our main storyline. So pretty cool stuff, and I'll be trying to go back and look at some of the other issues of this as well, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching the video. If you've made it this far, please subscribe and like if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next one.